Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to another beautiful tutorial. I remain your fashion teacher IJ, and here is IJ Designs. On today's tutorial, I want to show to you guys how I achieved this beautiful off-shoulder bustier 6 pieces gown. It is easy to make, simple. As you can see, it's right behind me on the screen. I will use my already drafted off-shoulder pattern to achieve this gown. If you have not known how to achieve or how to draft an off-shoulder pattern, I have made a well-detailed video on how you can achieve an off-shoulder bustier pattern. To make a blouse, a gown, or a top, I've made a well-detailed video on how to achieve that. You can check it out and achieve yours, and you are good to go with me. So now, let us get into today's tutorial. But before then, I'll never forget my returning subscribers, my amazing family. You guys are supportive. You guys are the best. I'm grateful for your support. I thank you all for coming back to check what I have for you guys. I remain grateful to you guys. Thanks for coming back. And for those that have not subscribed, subscription is free. Just hit on the red button and put on the notification bell that whenever I upload, you watching me, yes, you will be the first to be notified. So guys, let us get to the work table. So now guys, this is my already drafted block. This is an off-shoulder pattern that I have drafted, so I'm going to use it to achieve this 6 pieces gown that we are making now. So what do I have to do? Just take your block. This off-shoulder block that I made is up till the half length. That is the waist. Is on from the shoulder to the waist, because I use it to make a peplum blouse. So it's an off-shoulder from the shoulder to the waist. So I now take the center part. Remember, this is the folded edge. This is the folded material. So I now take a plain paper. Just get your another drafting paper. Just place it. Place it at the edge. Place it. Do you see it? Place it exactly at the edge of the paper. You place it at the edge. Then you sellotape it. Now I have sellotape it. Do you see it? So now I will measure. So I will now measure what the after taking in my what I have here is almost 3 inches. Call it 2.9 inches. So call it 3 inches. So I will bring it down. This 3 inches, I will now bring it down to this drafted, this plain paper that I'm using. So I'll now bring it here. This is my 3 inches. Now, this is the 3 inches I'm using from the waist. Remember, this is the waist. So I'll now place, to know the length of the gown I'm making, I now placed my tape. My waist is 17. So I now place my waist on 17. Do you see it? I place my tape on 17. So what is the length of this gown I want to make? The length I want to make is 43. So now I now put it to 43. Do you see it? Although this paper is not up to 43, but I have to join another paper to get to 43. So measure any length of your choice, your gown. Measure what length you want it to be. Then you place your tape already on your waist, because you have already drafted it earlier, so you know what your waist is. So my waist is 17. Then I place my tape on 17, which is the last point. Then I now take it down to, if you want it to be 40 inches, 45, any length of your choice, then place your tape till that length. Then you mark it. Let's assume that here is my 43 inches. Then I have to mark it now. That assuming that here is 40, so I need more 3 inches, which I will also add on my material when I'm cutting it out. So now this is the length. Then I now measure 3 inches, which is the waist that I have here, 3 inches. So I measured my 3 inches here. So how wide do I want it to be? Now I added extra 10 inches because I want it to be full. Okay, with the 3 inches I have and the 7 inches I added, it came up to 10 inches. Do you see it? So now it is 10 inches. From here, remember 3 inches that I have from the waist. So I added it extra 7 inches. So that 7 inches now came up to 10. So when I now open it, I have 20 inches. So now from this point, I'll now connect it to the waist. You can decide to go to connect it half inch before the waist or exactly from the waist, but I want to make mine exactly from the waist. You can also go up by 1 inch from the waist to connect it to the length of your choice, but myself, I want to start from the waist. So from this waist now, I'm going to connect it to the length of my material. So now, do you see it? I will now connect it from here. Do you see it? I've now connected it. Do you see it, guys? I've now connected it. So that is what I want. When I open it now, it's going to be 20 inches. So the next thing again I have to do, this is the center part now. So I'm going to cut it out. When I cut it out, I'll place it on my material to cut out my material. So now, after this, I'll now take the side block. This is the side block. I'll do the same to the side block. I'll do the same to the side block. So now, let me take this out. I'll now cut this after. So now, this is the side block. Because what I added is 7 inches from the actual 3 inch from the what I added is 7 inches to make it flow. So now I'm going to place my center block in here so that I can add on both sides 3.5 inches. Do you see it? So now I have to measure what I have here. I have 7 inches. I have 7 inches from the center block. So what I have here, from here to here is 7 inches. Then I place it here. I place it here to make sure that I have extra allowances. So from here to here is 3 inches that I'm going to add on this side. From here, but I'm going to do it on the down part of it. So now let me sellotape it again. So now I'll measure my pattern paper to know the middle of it. My pattern paper is 15.5. So I will now get the measurement. This is here is the half. So I'll now measure here 7 and 3.5 is the half. So I'll place it so that it will be equal, so that I will get it at the down part of it. So now I put it here. So I will now sellotape it. Do you see it? I also did the same thing. I sellotape it now. I now sellotape it. So from here, this is the midpoint. So I come back here also to have the midpoint. So here is also my midpoint. So here is my midpoint. So from here now, from this place, I'm going to add 3.5 inch from this side. 3.5 inches. I'm going to add it. So here is 3.5 inches. Remember, it was 7 inches that we added to the center block. So we are going to divide it into 2 on this center part. So now also I will now add 3.5 inches on this part also. So from now, here is 3.5 inches, here is 3.5 inches. I'll bring it down. Remember, what we have here is 7 inches from the waist. So now I mark my 7 inches here. So here is the 7 inches. From here to here is the 7 inches. So from the 7 inches now, on each side, I'll mark 3.5 inches. So I'll mark 3.5 inches. You can add any amount of inches you want, depending on how you want it to flow. You can add 5 inches. You can add 7 inches. The inches you add determines how it will flow. So from this edge now, I'll connect to the 3.5 inches here. So see what I did? From here, I now connect So simple. Just use your block you have already drafted and add inches at the down part of it and connect it. Do you see it? I've now connected it. Guys, do you see it? I've now connected it. So the same thing comes at the back. The same thing comes at the back, but the back, remember, we are going to cut it open. It's not going to be one block like this. No, we are going to cut it open, which I will do and I'll show it to you guys. So now I'm going to cut out these pieces and the front panel and I'll place it on my material and I'll show it to you guys. So now guys, this is the front panel. I've cut it out. Do you see it? This is the front panel. I have cut out the paper and I place it on my material. Do you see it, which I showed to you? On the neck side, you can determine how you want the neck to be. If you want to have a sweetheart neck, just come down by 1 inch and from this place you curve it. Then I don't want it to be sweetheart. I want it to have another design on the top. I want it to have a pointed design on the top, so I have to go up by 3 inches. From here, I now connected it to the 3 inches and I cut it. In place of having a sweetheart neckline, I now went up. So that is how my neckline is. You can determine any choice of your neckline. So now I've placed it on my material. So on this down part of it, because I don't want it to be straight, so I have to come up by 1 inch so that I can curve it. So now I came up by 1 inch here. Do you see it? So from this 1 inch, I connect it. So now let's just cut it out. Do you see it now? This is our center panel. Do you see it? Our center panel is ready, which I showed you how to do it. Just take your already drafted block, place it and add how many inches you want it to have at the down part of it. Then you connect it from your waist. You can go up or you can connect exactly from your waist, which I did for mine. So the center block is now ready. So I'll keep it aside to cut out also the side block. So now guys, this is the side block. Do you see the center that I said, where you can now use to measure? Do you see it? Do you see the sides? Also, this I don't want it to be sharp, so I have to come up by 1 inch, which I will also cut out now. So let us cut it out because I don't want it to be pointed. So just go up by 1 inch from the down so that it doesn't be sharp. Then you connect it to the center here, which I did. So now let's cut it out. Now guys, do you see it? Remember, this has to be 2 pieces. That is the right side and the left side. So do you see it? Which is the 2 pieces here. I cut it out together with the lining. So let me show it to you guys. The center block has to be unfold one piece, and this side piece has to be 2. Do you see the second one here? Do you see it? I cut it out together with the lining to be easier. Do you see it? So now I'll also show you the back panel. Now guys, this is the back panel. Remember I said you have to cut it open. Let me give you an example. This is the block. If you are making an ordinary blouse that you don't want to cut it open, this is how the block looks like. This is how the block looks like. But in this one that we are making, because you want it to have that flay, you have to cut here open or up till the end. So while you cut it open, remember to add ½ inch seam allowance on both sides while cutting it out on your material, so that you can use that ½ inch to sew it together. So now you cut it open, on your material you add ½ inch seam allowance, which I did here. So now I added also the allowance, the number of inches that we added on the front side, the 7 inches, because this is unfold. So I added 7 inches to it so that it will have that wideness like the front. So now the next thing to do at the zip side, I want it to have a little bit of tail, a little bit of flare. But if you don't want on your own, just maintain your zip 1 inch or 2 inches zip allowance that you give. I always give 1 inch seam allowance. You can also give 2 inches seam allowance. All is on your choice. So now from this zip allowance, I now gave 3 inches more because I want it to flow at the back. Do you understand? So from here now, from this waist now, I'm going to connect to the edge here. But if you don't want, you maintain your straight line. There is no problem. But if you want it to be a little bit of fancy, you can also add this tail that I'm adding now. Just a little bit. So that if you have a bump, for those that have big bumps, it cannot go up. Because sometimes when you make your gown, the front is longer than the back because of the bumps. So if you want to avoid it, add it an extra allowance. So now I'm going to add some inches to it. So now I'm going to connect from the waist here. Connect it to here. Do you see it now? So I'm going to trim this out. And remember to come up by 1 inch also for it not to be pointed. So now guys, this is our zip side. Do you see it? So I have to remove this for us to see how it looks like. So this is our zip side. Do you see it? So the last one is going to be the side of the back block. Remember to add the 1/2 inch after you have cut it open to get your flare. The reason for cutting it open is to get the 6 pieces. Remember, it's 6 pieces gown. So it has to be 4 blocks at the back. For it to be the 6 pieces, it has to be 4 blocks at the back. Do you see it? Remember the allowance that we add on each part of it? 7 to make it flow. And you connect it from the waist. On both sides of it, you add 7 because it's not on fold. So on both sides, you add 7 to get how you want it to flow. So now I came up by 1 inch at the down so that it's not going to be pointed. So now let us trim it out. You can add as many inches as you want. The more inches you add to it, the more it flows. So now guys, this is the side block. Do you see it? From the waist, where we added. Remember, from the waist, just place your tape on your already drafted block and determine the length of the gown that you want to make. Like mine, I placed 17 and I determine it 43, including seam allowance. You can determine 40, anything you want. Once you place your tape on your waist, where you have already drafted, then you place it on the length of the material you want and also add the extra inches on the down part of it to make it flow. Then you connect it from the waist to the point that you now mark as your inches. So now our blocks are ready. Do you see it? This is the side block. So this is the side block. So now I will now place it to show to you guys how it looks. This is this. Now guys, can you see our panels? Do you see how beautiful it looks? Do you see it? That's the panel. Do you see it? So that's the panel. That is the center panel. And these are the sides panel. Do you see it? So now the next thing to do is to couple them together. But before then, I'm going to pad it And after padding it, I'll couple it together, I'll join the 3 of them together, and I'll also join the back together, and also the linings. I'll join it together and I'll show it to you guys. Now I have joined the zip at the back. I've joined the 4 panels like I said. I'm going to join it and show to you guys. Do you see it? And also the lining. I also use the lining to turn it. Do you see it? So the back panel, that is the back block, now is ready. Do you see the 4 panels have been joined? The 4 panels have been joined. And also the front panel, I've also joined. That's the front panel. This is the front panel. Do you see? Because I padded it. Do you see how the bust is? And do you see the inside of it? That's the inside of it also. So now the next thing is to fix the 2 panels together, the front and back panel. I'll now fix the 2 together. And also I've cut out the sleeve. I've cut out the sleeve. The sleeve is just a round sleeve. Do you see it? A round sleeve. I made it a round sleeve. So that is the sleeve. So I'm going to now join the sleeve to the body after joining the 2 bodies together, and then our gown is ready. Then I'll show to you guys how it. Now guys, can you see our gown? Our off-shoulder bustier 6 pieces gown without cutting it half length to join it together. It is a 1 piece. It's ready. Do you see how it looks? So beautiful. If this tutorial on how to achieve this beautiful gown has been helpful to you, don't forget to show me love by subscribing to my channel. Like, share and comment on my videos, and put on the notification bell that whenever I upload, you'll be the first to see the new upload from IJ Design. We'll put it on our mat. Guys, this is our off-shoulder bustier 6 pieces short gown. We have just DIY with circular sleeve. Do you see how it is? Make one for yourself and tag me on Facebook or on Instagram. Show me love by subscribing, sharing, and commenting on my videos. I love you guys. See you in my next video. Bye.